Welcome to Tangi's Tapestry, where spirituality, law, motherhood, and relationships weave into a rich and meaningful discussion. I'm your host, Tangi, a mother, daughter, sister, friend, and an avid entrepreneur. Join me as I share my personal journey, explore faith-based discussions, and offer valuable legal insights. Each episode is designed to inspire, empower, and connect with individuals on their unique path. So let's dive into today's topic and embark on this journey together. Hey, welcome back to Tangi's Tapestry. I'm your host, Tangi, and I know you guys do not see my pretty little face today. I've decided to do just an audio version of this episode, so I'll be back on camera the next episode. But today, I just wanted you guys to hear my voice. I hope you guys are having a blessed start to your week. And, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a critical topic that I think many fathers are facing, especially because I see this often on social media. So I thought I should do a topic on fighting for fatherhood and provide some custody tips that I think that every dad should know. But before we get started, I'm going to do a quick recap about our last two episodes from last month. And in episode 3, I had a girl chat with with some of my girlfriends, and we talked about, dating and some of the things that we are encountering, like love bombing, red flags, and just being a single mom trying to date out in these dating streets. um, and that was a good conversation, and I want to do a part 2, so that's going to be coming somewhere down the pipeline sooner than later. In episode 4, we had a powerful conversation with a married couple, Pastor Delaney and Shamirical Jones, and we talked about their love story, and they shared some biblical wisdom on preparing for marriage. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to those episodes, I highly recommend checking them out. And hopefully this episode, my sound quality is a little better. I was struggling last episode. Y'all, I do this on my own. I don't have, production, sound team, and camera team, and I don't have all that. It's just little old me, and I just make it work. So hopefully this episode, the sound is a little better. I figured out how to fix that. So sorry about the sound quality last episode, but hey, the content is still accessible. You can hear it, and that's all that matters. So let's go ahead and just get into today's topic while I'm wasting away time, because y'all know y'all attention spans is short. So I got to keep it short and sweet and simple. So this topic is fighting for fatherhood, custody tips that I think every father should know. And, what I see on social media is a lot of discouraged fathers. And I know that fighting a custody case can be discouraging, or even not even getting to the point where you have a custody case going, but just trying to be in your child's life. And, if the other parent is not allowing that, it can be discouraging and frustrating. So I want you to know, to my fathers out there, you do have rights. And if you have the right, preparation and mindset, you can try to successfully, because I never tell anyone that you can get this and you can get that, but you can try to successfully advocate for your role to be a part of your child's life. Because I firmly believe that every child should have both their mother and their father. Because, I didn't grow up with a full-time father in my life. He's in my life now, and I thank God for that. But growing up, I didn't have that. And so I want to advocate for fathers to be present in their children's life, even if you have to fight to get to that point. So, I want to go ahead and offer up a scripture like I always do, And in Proverbs 27 is going to be the scripture that I am going to be reading from, and it's in the New Living Translation. So let me grab my Bible, you guys. Bear with me. Don't leave. Hold on. Okay. So in Proverbs 27, the godly walk with integrity. Blessed are their children who follow them. And I love this scripture because this is a scripture that reminds me that when we lead with integrity and consistency, our children reap the benefits. So, no matter what challenges you're facing, just stay strong in your faith. If you're a man of faith, um, then you want to, stay strong in your faith and continue to do what's right, because that's going to have a lasting impact on you and your children. Okay. So before we begin with the legal tips, I want you to know that this is the information that I'm sharing in this episode is only for informational purposes, and it does not constitute any type of legal advice, um, nor does it create any attorney-client relationship. So if you do have specific questions about your situation, I strongly encourage you to consult with a qualified attorney in your state who can help you navigate a custody case that you might be either getting ready to take on or that you're already in. So let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. So, the first thing I want to talk about is understanding your rights as a father. The first step, I believe, in fighting for custody is to know your rights. I mean, you have to start from somewhere and you should know your rights. And so I think many fathers just automatically assume that the court system favor mothers. And I can get why they say that, but the truth is, what the courts look at is what is in the best interest of the child. So they're not looking at what's in the best interest of mom, or they're not looking at what's in the best interest of dad. They're looking at what's in the best interest of the child. So that means you have to prove that you're, an engaged parent, you're stable, you're supportive, you're a loving parent, you're financially taking care of your child or children, and that those things that you can show the court will allow for you to secure some type of custody or even increase your visitation with your children or child. Okay, so some of the key things that I think fathers should know, one of them is that you have the right to petition for custody or visitation. What I see often is fathers going straight to social media and posting on Facebook or Instagram, all or doing live videos about how awful their child's mother is, and how awful the court system is, and all of these things. They're taking their case straight to social media instead of filing something in court. So that should be your first thing that you do, is you should petition the court to get some type of custody or visitation with your child. Okay. Don't go to social media, because social media is not going to help you, and it actually can harm your case. So, you also have the right to be involved in major decisions. Now, I know that a lot of times, fathers don't think that they have the right to, make decisions regarding the child's education, their medical concerns, health, their overall well being. But you do, you have those rights, but you have to petition the court to get those rights. And there are different types of custody. If you have an opportunity, you can go check out my YouTube channel. I have some things on there about custody, but there's like joint custody, where you both get to make decisions about your child, or you can ask for sole custody, which is really hard to get. You have to show a lot to get sole custody, but so legal decision making, custody. So just know that you have the right to be involved in major decisions for your child. Okay. And then the third thing, you have the right to request modifications. So let's say you already have a custody case, and if there is a substantial change in circumstances, that warrants a change in the current custody, like let's say you had a little bit of time with your child, they only gave you a little bit of visitation, or you even had maybe supervised visitation or whatever it might be. If things have improved or gotten better, you have a bigger home now, you have extra space for the child, you moved closer, or whatever it is, file a modification, because guess what? Your custody orders do not change by themselves. And it's always good to file a modification and not go outside of the orders and try to work things out. If you have a current custody, just get it modified so that you have a legal document in place. And so those are the three things that I think, fathers should know about understanding your rights when it comes to the custody case. And so don't just automatically assume that the odds are against you. Courts recognize the value of fathers. And I think that I can speak for myself. I recognize the value in having a father um, in their child's life. So, but you have to advocate for yourself. You have to fight to get there if the other parent is not allowing you to do so. So that is one of the things. File something in court. That's like the big takeaway. You need to go file something, okay? If you're not getting access to your child, file something. The next thing is building your case with integrity. So now let's talk about how to build a strong case if you are fighting a custody matter and you've already you've petitioned the court and you're there, okay? And I think these are some key things that can make a difference. So one of the tips I want to share with you is to document your involvement. So keep a log of how often you're spending quality time with your child. I know that sounds like, why do I have to do that? But it helps. So, things like school drop offs or school events that you've attended, extracurricular activities, sports, homework help, doctor's visits, any kind of quality time, vacations, things like that that you've done with your child. Document all of those, keep the dates and everything that shows the court that you are an engaged parent. Um, you know, it's one thing where you don't want to go to court and the other parent is saying, well, they've never been in the child's life ever. They're not present. But then you can pull out all these receipts and say, well, that's not true, Your Honor. I have been to all of these things, X, Y, and Z. Right. So just document your involvement. Be mindful of the communication. This is huge because you don't know what it's the other parent is going to use it, especially if you're sending like text messages or social media posts bashing the other parent and saying, like talking like reckless. I have seen the most. Okay, so you want to make sure that the way you text, email, speak, like social media posts, how you're speaking about the other parent, because it's going to be used in court. Okay, so you might not want to be cussing them out, and you might not want to be calling them all out of the name, and you might not want to be calling them, you might not want to even save their name. So this is another thing I've seen is where people have saved the contact of the other parent in their phone as like something derogatory, and then they go to bring that, you go to print out that evidence and bring it to court, and you can see at the top what the other parent, what you've named that other parent. Like, you just, again, just keep it professional, cordial, and child focused. Okay, make sure your communications are just child focused, no matter how emotional or upset you get. Okay, sorry I went on a rant about that one because that one is just so huge to me. You also want to create a stable environment. So if you want custody or you want to get more visitation access to your child, you want to make sure that your home is safe, structured, and supportive for your child's growth. So this includes having like a designated space for them, a consistent routine, and just a nurturing atmosphere. So if you're in between homes, or you're moving all over the place and you travel all the time, and like you probably want to just make sure that you are stable, your home is good, and that's the time to definitely advocate for more visitation time. So the key here is integrity, right? So if you just remain consistent, responsible, and respectful, this is going to strengthen your position in the court. All right, some common mistakes to avoid is the last thing I kind of want to talk about. And so I know that even the best fathers out there, you know, they even can make mistakes when it comes to custody cases. And a lot of it is because, it's a very emotional situation to be in. So I want to share some of the pitfalls to avoid. One of those pitfalls is missing court dates. Now, if you skip a hearing because you think it's not important or you don't need to be there, this is going to make you look unreliable, and there might be things entered in against you that otherwise would not have been, you know, put in an order if you had showed up to court. So even if you don't think you're going to win your case and you get frustrated towards the end, still show up to every single hearing, okay? And if you can't make it for some whatever reason, then you need to file something with the court to ask for a continuance. But nevertheless, you need to show up even if they don't grant it, okay? So another thing that I would say to avoid is falling behind on child support. Now, paying child support doesn't mean that you're going to get access to your child, and vice versa. Not paying child support doesn't mean you're not going to get access. So to your child, they don't go like hand in hand. It's like you don't have to pay to be able to see your kid, and that's a lot of myths out there. But I will say, you do want to make sure that if you do have a child support order in place, that you are paying it. And if you're struggling financially and something has happened, you've lost your job, you've changed jobs, and your income is less than what it used to be, you need to file a modification of your child support and not just let it rack up missed child support payments or whatever, because courts don't always look favorably. Well, they won't look favorably on unpaid support, right? So it just looks like you're like, what's going on with your finances? Are you like, if you're asking for more time with the child or whatever, you want to make sure you're not asking so that you don't have to pay child support, because that's not a good look either. But you want to just make sure that you look stable financially, and that you're just reliable with the child support. Okay, so I don't want to harp on that too much because this isn't a child support situation, but just make sure you're paying child support if it's court ordered. Bad mouthing the other parent. I think I talked about this a little earlier, but you don't want to speak negatively about the other child, about the other parent. Okay, and you don't want to do it in court. You don't want to do it outside of court. You definitely don't want to do it online, because that is out there for everybody to see, and it could be used against you in court. And you don't want to do it. You don't want to talk bad about the other parent to the child either, because judges don't like conflict-driven parenting, and they don't like when there's evidence out there that shows you're bad mouthing the other parent. And that goes both ways, right? So just don't bad mouth your child's mother, okay? She might be getting on your nerves. She might be this and that. And it might be true. It might be true. But you don't want to post it. I'm sorry. But I get it. Listen, I know there are some mothers out there that are just not kind to the father, right? So, but let's try to be the bigger person, okay? So you should always focus on your child's well-being, and don't focus on the drama. Don't focus on the frustration. Just focus on, your role as a parent and active father. That's what you want to be having at the forefront of your mind as you're advocating for custody and visitation, okay? That you want what's best for the child, and you want to be present, and you want to be active, and you're going to do everything in your power to get there, right? So let's recap. We talked about understanding your rights, as a father, knowing that you need to petition the court. Um, if you want custody or visitation, social media is not the court. You do not want to go on there and post your whole life about why you're not getting custody or access to your child. You don't want to do that. The second thing I talked about were like some of the tips, some of the tips that you want to keep in mind about if you do have custody and you have petitioned the court, that you want to make sure you document, your involvement with your child. You want to be mindful of the communication that you have with the other parent, and even communication with the child too. You don't want to be um, having, harsh words with your child that could be used against you. And then you want to just make sure that your environment is stable. And then the last thing I talked about was just some common mistakes to avoid. Missing court dates, falling behind on child support, and just bad mouthing the other parent, which I had to say that one twice in this episode because I feel like that's so huge. Like, so many mothers and fathers both do it, and it's just so awful, and it doesn't do anything to benefit the child. Okay, so I want to offer some encouragement for my fathers out there. Don't give up. I know custody battles can be overwhelming. I know they can be frustrating, and it's also very discouraging, um, especially if you're navigating this situation um, on your own. I know that it's tough, but your child needs you to keep showing up, to keep fighting, to keep advocating, to be in their life no matter what. Remember, Proverbs 27 says, the righteous who walks in integrity, um, blessed are their children that follow after them, right? So this is bigger than just winning a case. I know we all want to win, and there's really no winners and losers in custody cases because both sides don't always get everything that they want in these cases unless one of the parties don't show up to court, which I told you show up to court. But it's bigger than, winning a case. But it's about creating like a foundation of love, leadership, and consistency, because consistency is key. And that's going to bless your child for years to come. So, I know that was a mouthful, but if this episode was helpful, I would ask that you share it with a father who needs the encouragement if you know that they're going through a custody battle or they're not getting access to their child. And please don't forget to subscribe to Tangi's Tapestry for more real life discussions and practical legal insights. And if you are a father in Maryland or DC and you're facing a custody battle or you need legal guidance, I'm here to help. Now, I know I'm putting a plug out here for myself, but that's okay. I'm the host. I can do that. um, but if you are in Maryland and DC and you have, you're facing, like I said, a custody battle, or you're needing some legal advice about visitation or any of that kinds of stuff, I'm here to help. But you do have to schedule a consultation with my law firm. It's Turner Legal Solutions, and the website is turnerlegalsolutions with an S.com. I love it. Listen, sometime I think my pastor a couple Sundays ago preached about encouraging myself. So I'm gonna encourage myself to promote my business. Okay, don't y'all be hating on me out there. But anyways, the next time you're diving, or the next time you're dealing with, uh, these custody issues or whatever, whether it's a modification or a petition, just listen to this podcast and hopefully it'll help you out. Next week, or not next week, the next episode, we're going to be talking about boundaries, and primarily boundaries as adults with our parents. I have a special guest that's going to come on. Hopefully, that's going to be my episode. I hope I don't change it up on you guys, but that's going to be the episode. It's about boundaries and boundaries with friendships, parents, coworkers, whatever. We're just going to be talking about knowing our boundaries, and you don't want to miss that episode. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So until then, stay strong. Keep weaving your beautiful tapestry of life. And I will keep tapping in with you guys, sharing about faith, relationships, and the law. So until next time, stay prayed up, stay blessed, and keep the faith. Peace out. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Tangi's Tapestry. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Remember, new episodes drop every second and fourth Monday, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more heartfelt discussions, personal stories, and valuable legal insight. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your family, friends, and followers. Your support means the world to me as I strive to create meaningful content that inspires and empowers. Well, until next time, take care and remember to leave your own unique story into the tapestry of life. See you on the next episode of Tangi's Tapestry.